I was about 7 or 8 years old, back when my family used to take trips to this little man-made lake down in South Georgia. It wasn't anything fancy, just a big dugout pond that somebody had tried to turn into a beach. They hauled in truckloads of white sand, planted a few palm trees that looked kind of out of place, and called it a family park. You'd pay a few bucks at the gate, pull your car right up to the water, set up your grill, and spend the day swimming. And yeah, it had one of those big water slides that looked fun until you got close. Rusty metal ladder, wobbly handrails, kids always getting scraped up or worse. But as a kid, you don't really notice how unsafe things are. You just see the adventure. Where my family liked to park, there was this little island sitting maybe 30 yards off the shoreline. It wasn't much, just a mound of sand sticking out of the water with a couple of weeds on it. But to a kid, it felt like a treasure island. If you were brave enough, you could swim, or in my case, bounce your way out there. See, I wasn't the strongest swimmer. The water was just over my head, but I could push off the bottom, bob up for air, then bounce forward again. It was my way of feeling like an explorer. One hot afternoon, I started bouncing my way out to that island like usual. But then, halfway there, I pushed off the bottom and my foot came down on something that didn't feel like sand or a rock. It felt like a face. I froze. My toes slid across what I swear was a nose. And then I'll never forget this, the feeling of fine, soft hair slipping between my toes, floating in the water. That sensation sent a shock through my whole body. I panicked. My little brain couldn't process what just happened, so I bolted back toward shore, splashing and gasping the whole way. I sat on the sand, shaking, trying to convince myself maybe it was just a weird plant or a trick of the water. But deep down, I knew. And then I started hearing the voices. Parents calling out, panic in their tone, people walking the shoreline, shouting a little boy's name over and over again. My stomach dropped. I watched as more adults gathered near that little island, right where I'd been. The whole place went quiet except for the sound of water splashing as a couple of men waded out. And then they pulled his body up. A young boy, limp, right from under the water where my foot had touched. At 7 years old, I didn't fully understand death, but I knew enough to realize what had happened. That kid had been right there beneath me the whole time. For the rest of the day, I couldn't shake that feeling, hair slipping between my toes, the weight of something I couldn't see. I sat on the sand in silence, too scared to go near the water again.